Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to my episode 5 breakdown / storytime video, and I'm not gonna waste you guys' time. I'm gonna get straight into it. Gonna talk about what I was doing on the vacation island, what it was like on the vacation island, who I voted for, what I think of the games that were played for the people competing for the island, and just where I stand overall in the game right now, as currently I'm in the top 60. But anyways, let's officially hop into it. All right, so life on the vacation island was honestly just like a dream come true. As you see, this is us walking up for the very first time to the island. And again, it was just an amazing / beautiful place. We had a main cabana where we would all just hang out and eat food. And speaking of food, the food I ate while on this island for my 3 or 4 days there, I'm telling you, it was some of the best food I've ever eaten. Like, I don't consider myself a seafood guy, but I'm telling you, that food was top notch, and it was way better than the food that we got in the city, in my opinion. And also, the cabins on the island were super nice. They all had 2 sets of bunk beds, therefore fitting 4 people, and they also had showers that were also extremely nice and convenient. And in my cabin, it was me, Papa Dino, Michael, and Ozzy, and it was just a great group. And whenever we first got to that cabin, there were gift bags for all of us filled with tons of different essentials like water bottles, journals, combs, and just a bunch of other neat stuff. And actually guys, I actually got some of the stuff that I got from the island right here, so let me show you guys. All right guys, as you can see, this is the official island pouch. As you guys can see, looks pretty fire, man. Haven't opened this thing up in a minute, but I don't know what's inside of it, but oh gosh. As you can see, I've just been stuffing random stuff inside of it, but whenever I first got it, it came with a toothbrush, shampoo, conditioner, just a bunch of different essentials, and yeah, it's a pretty cool bag, and that's item number 1. All right guys, item number 2, we have the island water bottle. Let me make sure you guys can see it clearly. The island water bottle. This thing is fire. Again, we all got one, and I've actually used this thing a couple times in the gym, and yeah, it's really good, and got the Fire Island logo, and again, it's fire. All right, next on the item list I got the notebook. Let me flip it around. The notebook got the island logo, again, as you guys can see, and as you guys probably know, we had no concept of time while we were there in Beast Games and on the island. So a bunch of people would just open up their little booklets and write down the date, what they were feeling, how they were feeling, maybe write down some strategy for the games. And I'm gonna be honest, as you guys can see, I did not write in my book at all. Sorry guys, this is so difficult. I didn't write in my book at all. I didn't really mess with it at all. But again, a lot of people did in fact use this book, whether just to draw, doodle, write their thoughts down, write notes, and again, the island logo is fire, and who knows, maybe I'll actually use it one day. All right, and for the last item, I can't remember if I got this on the island or in the city, but it's a little fanny pack right here. As you guys can see, has my number, if I can get it, has my number 245. Hope you guys can see that, 245. And yeah, a little fanny pack. And this thing actually has a lot of stuff, so let me open it up. Okay, don't know why it's in here, but I actually got some earplugs. I don't remember if they actually gave us this on the island or in Beast Games in general, but that's weird. Don't remember having those. In the next hole, we got, oh shoot, guys. I literally never took out my old toothbrush and all the stuff I brought to Beast Games. Like, bro, I've been wondering where all this stuff was. It was literally in here the whole time. Like, I'm telling you guys, I haven't looked in this thing in a while. So yeah, I was wondering where all this stuff went. Let's see what else I got in here. Guys, remember how I said in this bag, they had given us like shampoo and conditioner? Well, what I think I actually ended up doing was I took it out of here, out of this bag, and I put it into this bag right here because as you guys can see, here's actually all the shampoo and the stuff from the island. The shower gel, all right here. Again, I hope you guys can see all of this. Fresh from the island. So yeah, that is crazy. And let's see what else I got in here. Got a sleep mask that I never opened, but it's a sleep mask for you guys. Got the classic 245 right here, 245. And yeah, that's all I got from the island. And also, one thing I forgot to mention in my last video was I had a water bottle from the city that I had signed by the entire Beast crew. And whenever I was going through security to go to Panama, I forgot to empty it out and I still had some water in it. So unfortunately, whenever I went through security, they took it from me. Like, yeah, they straight up took it from me and I couldn't get it back. So yeah, that sucked. But anyways, also on the island, there were a ton of stuff for us to do, including cornhole, ping pong, volleyball, and just much more. We also got massages, there was a smoothie bar, ice cream, and we all just hung out in the water and enjoyed the beautiful scenery. And like I said in my last video of not knowing too many people coming to the island, whenever we first got to this vacation island is whenever I would say we all bonded the most. I mean, I met a bunch of cool people and it was just a once in a lifetime and cool experience getting to meet all of them. I mean, Ozzy said it best here.
How many times in my life will I ever be on an island in the middle of nowhere with these cool people again?
And now, as far as what I did personally while on the island, I just hung out with the other people, played games, and just chilled. I mean, I have been through so much just to get here, so just getting this free vacation and just having an opportunity just to recharge my battery was just so nice because I didn't have to stress out about any challenges. I mean, I would literally go on a swing or get in a hammock and just straight up relax and enjoy the beautiful scenery as I just thought to myself what was coming next. Because while we were on vacation now, I knew eventually it would be up and we would have to go right back to competing. And also, while they did tell us this was just a vacation and we wouldn't be competing, in the back of my mind, I always knew Jimmy always had a trick up his sleeve. So while I did, again, try to enjoy this vacation, in the back of my mind, I always kept thinking, what if this is a trick? I mean, at any point, Jimmy could show up and there could be some sort of challenge. I mean, Jordan said it right here.
I'm not gonna get too comfortable because I know Jimmy always has something up his sleeve, and right after this, we could do some massive eliminations.
But to make a long story short, while I did think at some point Jimmy might show up and make us do a challenge, at the end of the day, we never had to and we just had a free vacation. So then I just continued to relax and enjoy this once in a lifetime opportunity while I could. But anyways, one other thing I wanted to touch on was the brothers drama. I mean, you guys saw on the show people talking about them.
I heard that the Habibis, the brothers, Kareem and Hazem, argued like a fake argument, like acting, to convince the third person they didn't know well in the cube that they were in a fight.
But I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on what I was thinking about that situation while I was there on the island. Now, while I was there in the moment, I definitely heard that something shady did go down with them. But in the moment, I honestly didn't know how extreme or how true that story was. But for those that know me, y'all know I don't really deal with drama. And I didn't really want to associate or even talk about any drama during my times in the games. Because again, I didn't want to risk putting a target on my back. So I honestly just left it alone and kept to myself. And also, at this point, I'd gotten to know Hazem and Kareem pretty well. And if I'm being 100% honest, they're honestly pretty cool people. And while some people might consider this controversial, I honestly had no problem with them. So again, that's my thoughts on the brothers drama in that moment. And one thing I forgot to tell you guys that happened on the island is that one day a lady came and we just got to do a little art project right there on the island. And here's actually the picture from that day. And actually guys, I have my painting right here. As you guys can see, it's so bad. Yeah, I know, I'm not a good artist. I mean, compared to everybody else, my painting is terrible. But again, it is right here. And what it's supposed to be is, that is obviously supposed to be Jimmy right here. And we're supposed to be on a rock right here, overlooking the island right here. And this is actually supposed to be a bell, because on the yacht, I don't know if you guys can see it, but on the yacht, there's a little bell. So that's where I got the idea for a bell. And again, it's a bell, that's Jimmy with the sombrero. And one of these is supposed to be me, I don't know. And that's obviously the sun, the island. And again, this is my little picture, you know. It's trash, yeah, I know. And if I got any island fan people watching, your guys' pictures are way better than mine, if I'm being 100% honest, because again, I am no artist, but yeah, this is my picture from the island. So now, let's talk about the people who were actually competing for the island, and obviously, I was rooting for Misha. I mean, he's literally the reason why I'm even on the island, and he's one of my best friends still in the games. So whenever that first game started for them, we were all watching behind the scenes, and I actually remember seeing the helicopter drive right by our island, and I remember thinking, what the heck is that? And whenever we found out that it was Navy SEALs coming to hunt them down, I'm not gonna lie, I almost immediately regretted my decision not to fight for the island. I mean, this was the coolest challenge by far that we've done, and I remember in that moment wanting to be there so bad, because at the end of the day, even if I lost, who gets to say they were hunted down and found by Navy SEALs? But anyways, if I was there, I'd probably do what Estabon did and climb a tree, because more than likely, the SEALs aren't gonna take the time to search a whole tree, and more than likely, they'd focus on getting the people in the easier hiding spots. So now, let's talk about the bocce ball game, and let me say, the results for this game surprised me. I mean, like I said earlier in the video, I wanted Misha to win, but if I had to take a bet on who I honestly thought was gonna win, I thought it was gonna be Jamal. I mean, that dude was just so athletic and people literally feared him because he was just that big of a competitor. I mean, you literally hear it in the show.
How you feeling about the competition? Anyone over there scare you, or you think this is gonna be a cakewalk?
Probably Jamal.
That's it.
So whenever he lost and got eliminated, I was honestly shocked. But I feel like the reason why he lost is because he got nervous whenever Timothy, the dude before him, went and overshot his ball, therefore making Jamal underthrow his ball and made it way easy for other people to beat him out. But anyways, now let's officially get into the voting game, and I honestly tried to be as fair as possible. So whenever I was thinking on who to vote for, I went by who I knew the least. So obviously I knew Misha the best, and he's the reason why I'm here. So no way I'm voting for him. But everybody else, I didn't know them that well, to be honest, but all of them except for one, I at least had one good conversation with while in the airport on the way to Panama. And the one person who I didn't have a conversation with was Lyric, number 895. So that's who I ultimately ended up voting for. And as you guys saw, he ended up being the person who got voted out. And I feel like he got a lot of votes in general because, again, most people didn't know him. And at the end of the day, he was the most built and most athletic person on the island. So I think people just saw his muscles, saw how big he was, saw how big of a physical threat he was, and wanted to take him out. But I'm curious, who would you have voted for and why? Tell me down in the comments below. So now let's talk about the box game, and unfortunately this is the game where Misha got out. And like I said earlier, we were watching this game live, so I knew exactly where Harrison put the X, and whenever I saw Misha chose it, my heart literally dropped. I mean, he's the reason why I'm here, and whenever I realized he was out and eliminated, it was like a gut punch. I mean, I honestly felt like, not being biased at all, out of everybody, he 100% deserved to win that island. I mean, he's such a fierce competitor and he's humble, he's himself, and that's one of the many reasons why I became friends with Misha. And again, seeing him lose in that moment was just so sad for me, and I felt so bad for him. Like, I would have done anything in my power to make sure that he wins. And again, one of my biggest regrets is not competing in general just so I could help Misha, because at the end of the day, if I don't win but he wins, that's honestly a win in my books. But I honestly feel like at the end of the day, the people there were just scared of him and knew he was a fierce competitor. So that's why Harrison didn't give him any hints on what box to choose, and Misha just had to try and guess on what box was correct, and unfortunately, he chose the wrong one. And again, I know I keep saying the same thing over and over and repeating this over and over, but again, Misha's one of the toughest competitors and most fierce competitors in the games, and I really knew from the moment he stepped up to compete, he had an amazing shot to win this island. I mean, I remember seeing his tower in the blocks game, and let me tell you, that was the straightest tower and most well-built tower almost in the entire room. Like, that thing was not falling over. And if I'm being 100% honest, Misha dominated the competition all the way up to this point. So again, seeing him go in something that was honestly just out of his control was heartbreaking for me, and I felt so bad for him. But anyways, now that Misha's out, that honestly gives me more motivation to win this $5 million so that I can repay him by any means possible. But now, as far as the pirate ship game, let me be the first to say, Estabon 100% made the right decision. I mean, $450,000 is just way too much money to give up. And at the end of the day, if I was in that situation, I really hope and pray I would have done the same thing and made the logical decision and took the money. Because again, that's just way too much money to gamble with. But now let's talk about the next game. And as much as I love Harrison, at the end of the day, Brennan and Mia, they came on the same helicopter. And as much as I hate to say it for Harrison, I honestly think he had no chance. I mean, he'd already refused to help Mia in one of the previous games, so that put a bad reputation in her mind. And at the end of the day, choosing between him, who refused to help her, and her helicopter buddy, who is the main reason why she's there, I think it was an obvious choice. And at the end of the day, again, while I hate it for him, I think he had no shot of winning this. So again, I'm curious, what do you guys think Harrison could have done to win? Let me know down in the comments below. But anyways, that's what it was like living on a vacation island, and that's all my thoughts on all the challenges. And I'll be sure to talk about the ending in next week's video. But anyways, just know that by next week, I'll be in the top 52 competing for $5 million. And as far as where I stand in the game right now, I honestly feel like I'm just floating in the middle because, like I said earlier, I don't get into the drama, and while I don't have a lot of friends and alliances, I still have a good amount that would vouch for me. So again, I feel like I'm in a good spot, not too popular, not too unpopular, and I have no enemies, and at the end of the day, I feel like I'm in a great spot. But anyways, that wraps up this week's video. Can't wait to see you guys next week for episode 6. Can't wait, and I'll see you guys next time.